So here we have some summary data for our sales staff. We got a bunch of sales people here. About 100 people in our sales staff. Making lots of money in sales. So it must be a big company. And we want to see who our top performers are. So let's go through this. Let's find the average sales across all of our employees. So I'm going to say equals average. And then I'm going to highlight cell B4, and I'm going to use my shift, tap end, tap down to select that whole range. Close that off with the parentheses. Tells me my average salespersons had $35,896 in sales. So how do we determine if this person's, so Aphrodite's sales were above average? So I'm going to create a formula here. Just going to say equals total sales greater than average sales. Now, I always want to compare the individual salesperson sales to that number in cell C1. So I'm going to hit F4 to turn that into an absolute reference. Hit enter, it'll tell me that Aphrodite's sales were above average, which I can look at the numbers. That makes sense. 49,000 is bigger than 35,000. Let's just double check a few values. K's sales were 32,000, which is less than 35, so that should be false. Looking at my data, it looks like this formula is doing what I want it to, so I'm just going to fill it down the entire column. Everything should be good there. Okay, top veteran. So in column E, we want to output true if the sales are above average and the staff has been with the company at least 10 years. Otherwise, output false. So if we have multiple conditions that we want to satisfy, we can use the AND function. So you see logical 1, logical 2, and we have these ellipses here to show that we can do lots more logical comparisons. So I want two things to be true. I can, instead of comparing if their sales are above average, I could just refer to column C. I've already done that calculation, so I'm just going to refer to that value in C4. Here, I have to insert the logic to determine if they're a veteran. So they're a veteran if they've been with the company at least 10 years. So selling years has to be greater than or equal to 10. Those two conditions have to be satisfied to be a top veteran. Okay, so Aphrodite is a veteran and sales are above average, so that should be true. That looks good. K is not a veteran, not above average, so that's two reasons why this should be false, and it is false. Let's see, Nevada is a veteran, but Nevada's sales are not so great compared to the average, so that should also be false. So I'm going through this in my brain just to make sure that my functions are doing what I want them to do. It looks like it is. It's working, so I'm going to copy that down. I've got a bunch of high-performing veterans right in a row right here. They all have greater than or equal to 10 years selling experience, and they're all over the average sales. So my function's doing what I want it to do. So that's good. So in column F, we want output true if the sales are below average and if the staff has been with the company at least 10 years. Okay, so specifically it says use the not function in the formula. Okay. So we can do that. So we can say and, because we're looking for multiple conditions. So let's say, is this person a veteran? Let's do that check first. There's a bunch of different correct ways to do this. If selling years greater than or equal to 10. Okay, that's the veteran check. So how do we check if someone is underperforming? So we know if they're above average, but it tells us specifically to use the not. So not means like opposite. So if we say not, the logical should turn it's just going to reverse false to true, true to false. So is Aphrodite an underperforming veteran? No, she's not underperforming because her sales are above average. So we want not true, which would be false. Double negative there, which can be tricky, but we're just practicing right here. So hit enter. Aphrodite is not an underperforming veteran. Let's just copy this down. Let's see where it is true. So let's pick Rowan. Rowan has been identified as being an underperforming veteran. Rowan is a veteran, just checking that. And sales are well below average, so our formula is looking good there. Let's just pick a random false value just to double check. So let's see, this person is not a veteran, so it is impossible for Catherine to be an underperforming veteran because Catherine is not a veteran. Veteran seller. So she seems to be doing quite well though with her sales. All right, so let's do column G, our star rookies. Output true if the staff member's sales are above average and if they've been with the company less than 5 years. So rookies are 5 years or less. Sorry, less than 5 years, not less than or equal to. So you have to be careful about that. I'm going to read the question carefully. So we have to use and again because we're checking for multiple conditions. So and sales are above average. Our next comparison is if they're a rookie. So if selling years is less than 5. All right, let's copy that down. There's going to be a lot of falses here. Let's take a look at August. August is a star rookie because August's sales are above 35,000. And August has only 4 years of work experience. So Dahlia, another case where we have a star rookie. This is looking good. So I see Shannon has 5 years selling experience, is doing quite well, but this is going to be false because we're looking for rookies with less than 5 years experience. And so now once we have this data, we could, do lots of other fun things like data, filter, we could quickly, run a report to see who all of our star rookies are. We could do similar filtering with underperforming veterans, top veterans, or above average. We could sort data lots of ways by selling years, largest to smallest. So some of our top veterans aren't doing so good. Warren and Lance, you would expect a little bit more for 20 years experience, but this is all just randomly generated data anyway. Doesn't mean anything. So I'm going to clear everything. Spreadsheet looks good. I'll undo that sorting just to return everything back to its original state. But that's how you would use multiple conditions with our formulas.